Sometimes we have to take a break, have some sort of recovery and rest. And I was watching a streamer, and he's very insightful, Taekwondo. It was just this video, I can't remember specifically, but he brought up the idea of rest and recovery. And I had to find the video he's talking about because there was a difference. Because today, or in today's world, or even in my own personal life, I found myself overburdening myself, working myself hard. And if there ever comes a time where I'm just kind of have this free time, I feel uneasy just kind of sitting around idle. It feels like we constantly have to just grab something, do something, be somewhere, do something. And even now, I felt the urge to just talk. I felt the urge to come and make a video. So that's funny how that works. Where, the urge to constantly try and put my mind on something. See where now I'm just letting my mind go where it goes. And I haven't recorded as often. I haven't really made as much videos as often, just because there's a lot of just things going on in my personal life that is like I haven't really had the time to sit back and just talk. And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people are putting so much pressure on themselves. So much pressure and expectations, goals, and things they have to do and achieve by a certain time period or something like that. Nothing wrong with that. Having goals and a view and vision for yourself is beautiful. I think that's amazing, because I also have it for myself. Things I want to do and achieve. And I find it funny that it's like I give myself a good amount of time to rest. I won't really push my body physically or nothing like that. I'll just be out and about. And for example, right now, I'm not necessarily doing anything physical. I'm just talking. But it's in that time where I was just constantly working. And this isn't the first time it's happened too, There's a point in my life where I was working outdoors, doing physical labors, landscaping. I'd get home, play soccer, and go to the gym. You know how much of a toll that was on the body? I'd get cramps almost every night. I'd get it like every other day. And at that time, I was just starting to play soccer or something like that. So I found it kind of necessary at the time, because I was not that good. I was not that good at soccer, and I went to the gym with my dad, and also just by myself too, just because at that point it felt natural just to go. Like, it felt unnatural to not go. Like, it felt wrong if I didn't go. So it's that same, I guess you can say, work ethic, but at the same time I was overworking myself, that I found myself almost slipping back into. Thankfully, I have a bit more awareness and I'm a bit more lenient on myself. Having some leniency with yourself. You don't always have to be so strict. You don't always have to push yourself to the breaking point. At certain times, sure, maybe. But at times you just have to let yourself ease up. Take your foot off the gas and take a step back. And that's what I had to do. I had to take a step back and just look like, where am I heading? Everything felt so rushed, so chaotic. It felt like so much was going on, and my mind was just trying to keep up. My body was, feeling tired. And there was days where my eyes were literally just red just from exhaustion. The thing is, I'd get a good amount of sleep too, but I think it was just exerting myself so much. Because every day it was always something happening. Every day was always something happening, you know. I'd work 6 days a week. Three or two of those days I'd work the whole day. Like, I'd wake up, go to work, get off of work, then go to another job and work, and get home, sleep, and then wake up and work, and then get home, play soccer, play guitar, and then I'd just be tired. And it's the same cycle that was repeated for a bit. And the thing was, I wasn't necessarily bothered by it. I thought it was a good routine. But there was this slips of time where I wouldn't really do nothing. So I think that's why it led to me sleeping a bit late, or I'd stay up in the night just so I can have time to use my phone or something. But back to the whole workload thing. It's like we put a huge burden on our bodies, and I think now in the workplace, like, a lot more is expected of us. A lot more is expected of what we have to do compared to 30, 40, 50. And I can't say for certainty because I never worked back then. I never worked in that time period. But I'm just making an assumption that there's a lot more productivity that we have to get done, you know, both in work and personal life. We're expected to have so much more by a certain time when, you know, not everything fully in our control. You know, money and all of that, rent, bills, things like that aren't as easy as it once used to be. You know, back then you could have a cool, calm, low job, you know, get a house over time, obviously. But now it's like some people are working 2 jobs just to stay afloat. And I find that very stressful. I find that very crazy. You know, thankfully, I'm not in that yet. I think once I do get my own place, I do want a roommate or something like that. Just because I think it'd be, you know, very beneficial. But even so, I guess company is nice too. You know, and it feels like sometimes I have fallen behind. I guess that's the whole reason why I push myself. You know, I feel like I'm behind, but at the same time, it's like, you know, who am I to compare myself to others? We don't have the same life. We don't have the same struggles, the same battles, the same expectations from both peers, family, and from ourselves. We don't have the same expectations, you know, same goals, same standards. So it's like, am I really behind? Sure, you put accomplishments on paper, it's like, sure, I could be. I could also be ahead of some other people. That's not for me to decide, because even so, it's like, what's regular then? What would be just a regular thing? You know, because even so, in my day-to-day life, aside from work, I think it's very exciting, very fun. You know, I don't have the same fun as many people, but I find it very fun. You know, soccer, guitar. I haven't read as often, but I do want to get back into it. Trying to get back into making these videos. So I think it's very diversifying and very interesting, seeing where all this could take me, seeing where, you know, life progresses. I do think that we need some sort of way to get back in touch with ourselves. Because, it's really crazy seeing how a phone can affect us so much. A phone can really just change a person. And hopefully, more people come to realize that, and the generation coming up and the ones after and after realize that, this can have some very detrimental side effects. Not even just to kids, but to adults too. We be seeing what be happening. People just polarized. People just on one side of a coin or another. It's so many things. But there's also the good and the bad. The bad being some people are hypersensitive now. You say one thing, argument, heated, whatever. The other thing is there's so much availability to help. There's so much resources out there for people to get help. And I find it interesting that it's like, I'll be on TikTok, right? Look at the comments just to see whatever. And it's like someone make a comment, and instead of trying to like refute or give a perspective on that, they might just simply attack the person. Instead of trying to have some sort of debate or discussion, it's like you immediately attack the speaker. I found that very weird. And it happens so often. I don't know why. It happens so often from what I see. Yeah. I guess that's just a side little rant. But I thought it had to be said. Just because it was something I've constantly noticed and been aware of. It's like, yo, they're just trying to give a point. Why are you bashing them as an individual? You can disagree with the idea, but at the same time, it's like, yo, you don't have to. But at the same time, it's up to the other person to respond or to take it personally. So it's just interesting to see at the end of the day. Not even interesting. Interesting is not the right word. It's just intriguing and causes a bit of conflict within myself. It's like, yo, just because I know that shouldn't necessarily be, I shouldn't constantly have to be seeing that. You feel me? That's the weird thing too. It's like things are just so negative at times. So it can be weird. It can definitely be weird. I forgot what I was talking about. The car had their brights on right in front of me. So yeah, I think I was talking about social media and things like that. But besides the point, like even just, I guess that does play a part into the amount of work we put on ourselves, because hop on social media, of course you have your friends, things that they only show the good parts of their life, which obviously who wants to see the bad things? In some weird way, what mainly blows up is negativity, toxicity, arguments, and all that. But we ourselves post only the good parts of our life. So it's kind of interesting and weird to think about and look at. But then at the same time, we see these people have all these lavish things, all these great, amazing things, and even able to provide great things for certain people or for anyone, realistically. So it's like, okay, I want to be there, I want to do this, I want to be at this level, and you expect it to happen so quick, so fast. So you put a lot of work, and you're overburdening yourself, where it's kind of like the story, like the tortoise and the hare, trying to go fast. You just kind of get tired quick, and then the tortoise they're getting there slowly but surely, slowly but surely. And you know, it's a it's it's a very interesting story. I feel like I say interesting a lot, but it's a story that really gets me thinking. It's like, because from what I remember, the whole premise of the book was the hair was so far ahead. It's like, okay, let me just relax, let me just slack off. And it's like, I guess that paints a picture of, you know, you have to work so hard so fast, and you can never take a break in order to win. When at the same time, at the end of the story, it's like the tortoise wins, who just went slow, steady but surely getting there. But then there's that opportunity of like, okay, what if he didn't slack off, or would he have won quicker? And it's a weird trap to fall into. But we are neither a tortoise nor a hare, you know. I think we'd be somewhere in the middle. We're not going so slow, but we're still going at a moderate rate. If we need a break, we can take a break, but we'll get there surely. That's just but even so, it's caught up into expectations and dream life we want. Nothing wrong with that. Actually, I encourage you, if anything, having expectations for yourself, having expectations for a life you want to live, having some sort of work. The words slip my mind. Words slip my mind, but being able to work hard, and being consistent too. You know, as the phrase goes, you know, consistency is key. You know, you work hard and work efficiently too. You know, you don't want to overburden yourself, but at the same time, you don't want to do so little as like you're not making a change. But here's the thing: if you're just starting out, just take that first step. It could be, let's say, easy example, you know, going to the gym. You know, don't expect a full workout session if you've never gone. Just do something light. Get your body into it slowly but surely. And over time, you pick up the pace, and you get used to it. So it's that balance between understanding, you know, where you are currently and what is the idea of what you want to do and be and what you want to achieve. Where did I even start out at? It feels like my mind is just reaching for so many things that I don't even remember. I don't remember. I was talking about overworking, right? Yeah, I think I said everything I needed to say. Honestly, you know, a lot of it is expectations and what we put on ourselves, or even what could be put upon us from most likely family and friends and peers, and as of recently, social media. People we might not even know, but we see what they have and like, I want it. Some things aren't always necessarily meant for us, but still, it's like, why can't I have it? Some things just aren't meant to be. Don't get attached to it. Don't feel any sort of way. Just live your life. Live your life. Figure out more of what you want and more of what you don't want. You know, through finding out what you don't like, you'll find out what you like. So many trials and errors. The simplest one you can do is just try new things, whether it's a new soda at the store, a new restaurant, just try something different. A new skill. Some things are obviously easier to get into than others. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna become a doctor or a lawyer. Some things we don't necessarily have to try in order to know we don't like it. You know, but I guess it's reconnecting to the self, to you, and that's something I had to do too. I felt more separate, you know. I wouldn't say separate, but it felt more so like I wasn't really just me. I was me, but I wasn't really like me. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's essentially what it was. And I had to just kind of take a step back for a moment, mainly from just posting and videos and things like that. That's what it mainly was, just because other things were taking up more time. So I had to reorganize, restructure my whole thing now. I have to do that. And I understand what it's gonna cost me. You know, I understand what it's gonna cost me, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. A potential loss for a potential gain in something else. Because that's the thing, I feel like we push ourselves so much for some certain goal or some certain thing. And it's like, of course, it isn't necessarily guaranteed, but it's like, I'd much rather put the work in knowing that, you know, I gave it my all. And that's perfectly fine. You know, and it's also a thing, it's like a lot of, I don't want to say excuses, but a lot of thoughts come up where it's like, I only want to do it when these certain things happen. It's like, I don't want to go to the gym because I'm tired. I don't want to do this because of that. I don't want to X, Y, and Z. But it's like, you know, just do what you can with what energy you have. You know, you intend to go to the gym, but you're feeling tired. Okay, just go for a nice little walk. When you had that 5% to give it that 5%. You don't have to necessarily put 100% in every single thing. You're gonna burn yourself out, and that's the overworking I'm talking about. Trying to put all your effort into every single thing you want to do. You know, some things take more energy than others, some take less. That's perfectly fine. It's creating a balance of your work ethic, your energy, and your time. Your time is important. Your time is important. You don't have forever. Make the most of it, you know? Instead of trying to think about everything and everyone else, it's like, I don't necessarily want to say just think about yourself, but be more aware of yourself. If there's something you don't want to do, don't do it. Or if there's something you want to do, do it. It's okay to be a little selfish. But doesn't mean you necessarily have to reject everyone. You don't have to go to either extreme where it's you only care, you don't care for yourself, but you care for others, or the other side is like you only care for yourself and don't care. You don't have to go to either extreme. You can be perfectly fine in the middle. That's a lot of what I found about life. You're just kind of in the middle about it. You know, even some things I don't really care for. I'm indifferent. It's like, you know, it doesn't cross my mind. Like, I don't have to pick a side about things. I just don't know. I don't know, and I don't care. So you don't have to always just pick a side. I think I'm gonna just leave it off there, honestly. I'm gonna just leave it off there. Yeah. I guess one fun note. You know, as far as like making videos and things like that, I don't want to force it no more. At a certain point, it felt like I was almost trying to force things out. Although it wasn't necessarily forced, just kind of started to feel like that. Like I was trying to constantly do it. So you know, if there's days where I just am inconsistent, I'm just busy, I'm just doing something, but if I post, I post. That's just kind of where my mind is at right now. But at the same time, I'm also just thinking, like, what will it take to make this work? So, you know, it'll take some time to figure out. Maybe in the future it'll change, and it'll change again and again and again, and who knows how far it'll go. Who knows? But thank you for listening. See ya.